Good afternoon, Niner faithful. Excited to be here. This is the first of 3 live streams on the day on the channel. Looking to get out that content for you before I head off to Green Bay. For those asking, as you can see, this is not a green screen environment. I am still in Portland. I fly out to Green Bay tomorrow. Got the direct flight flying actually into Chicago and then driving up to Green Bay. Wanted to get that direct flight. Didn't want to go with, multiple legs in. That didn't sound like fun. So I am going into Chicago and trying to bring some of that disdain for Green Bay with me. For anyone that's new to the Sneakerhead call-in show, just going to give you the general layout of it. It is very simple. If you're a member of the channel, a Sneakerhead here on Rob Schuh's channel, there is a link on the community tab of my YouTube page. I am putting that link to the YouTube page in the chat. You have to be a member of the Sneakerhead community, and then you have to hit that link to go to the community tab. On that tab is a link for the call-in. That way you can get in. Got a couple of folks down in the waiting room now as it is. I'm going to try to keep it flowing so that if we have folks who are on here, if nobody's waiting, I'll just keep rolling with that individual. If there's folks in the waiting room, I'll try to keep it between 5 to 10 minutes for each person. But you're welcome to stay in after we wrap that 5 to 10 minutes. If we don't have a waiting list, I will bring you back into the program. So feel free to come in and hang out in the waiting room. I will get to you just as soon as possible. Again, the link that takes you to the link, if you're a Sneakerhead, is now in the chat. I'm very excited to get this thing kicking off. Got to recognize E. Kim being our latest Sneakerhead here on the channel. Welcome. And we have E. Kim waiting in the chat as well. So let's get to it. Let's bring in our first guest. As per usual, we are bringing in Sean 951 Niners. How you doing, Sean? It's good to see you, man.
No, it's good to see you too, bud. If I only have 10 minutes, we got to jump into it.
Let's do it. Well, we'll get back to it because you and I can just keep rapping. But tell me, what do you view as the keys for this game on Saturday? How do you see this thing breaking out, man?
So 30 seconds from last week, obviously, whoever's watching in here right now, I said 30-10, Dallas under 200 yards. Went back, saw a lot of the comments, a lot of LOLs, a lot of this guy's crazy, which I like. It's all good. 9 minutes left. Dallas had 175 yards. They had 10 points, and we had 23 driving with the ball. Jimmy G, it is what it is, right? Jimmy G he put the stake in my prediction.
It might have ended up going your way. I mean, if not for that interception, it very well could have ended 30-10, and the Dallas Cowboys would have been under 200 yards. But yes, that crucial mistake let them back into it.
Yeah. So it's all good. It is what it is at this point. He's going to give us one a game. It is what it is, but just want to start with that. But anyway, the Green Bay game, I think it just comes down to a couple things here. I mean, we're not going to say the Jimmy G picks. He's going to throw one. It's what it is. We're not going to say the running game because that's obvious. We're not going to say shut down Aaron Rodgers because nobody does. I think it has to do with our D-line and our linebackers.
Ooh, okay. I like that. The defensive front seven.
A lot of guys are going to say, our cornerbacks and this and Aaron Rodgers. For everyone here I watch a lot of tape on us, not just the games, but watch it over. Go back and watch the last 4 times we played Rodgers, an exception for the COVID game in 2020 with no fans and 17 people out. You pressure him, that's when the games get lopsided, when we're at home. We have to pressure him in this game. We have to make him check down to the running backs. We need Jones and Dillon to be the guys with the most catches. May not be the most yards, but the most catches, and let our 3 best linebackers, hopefully they'll keep Warner stagnant in the middle and allow Greenlaw and Shire to fly all over the place on the outside to keep his ankle okay. But that, to me, is going to be the key in this game. If you don't get pressure on him, the cold's not going to matter. He's going to hit his receivers. It doesn't matter if it's Scantlin or Tunyon or Adams. At this point, it just doesn't matter. He's going to disperse it around the way he does. Get pressure, get him in the third and long situations, and then at that point, just let the defense do what the defense does. On offense, there's not much to talk about. I mean, we have an identity. We have a game plan. We do the same thing every week. We're going to run the ball. We're going to get in Debo. And for the ones who say, oh, well, what about week 3? Well, what about week 3? Mitchell didn't even play. Debo wasn't even a running back.
Nope.
And if we want to talk about how the game went, they were up 17-0 after a Jimmy pick. And then we're up 28-27 with 37 seconds left in the game. If we look at it, the tail of those two tapes, we actually blew them out for 3/4 of that game. We just got blown out for a quarter. So we need to make sure we get off to a fast start, just like we did in Dallas. Get the lead, field goal, touchdown, doesn't matter. Get the lead, get us into our game plan. And in my opinion, barring injury or any funky turnovers, that's always going to be the asterisk. Can't predict a turnover, can't predict an injury.
Right.
Barring those two, my prediction is 24-23 49ers.
Woof. That is a nail biter. I will be squeezing my cheeks in the cold at Lambeau if that's the case. It is a different, absolutely a different matchup than we saw on the week 3 against the Packers there. I agree with Brian coming in here. Completely different team.
Both of us.
It's crazy when you look back at all of those things that are different from that week. And you mentioned a bunch of these. Elijah Mitchell was out. We had Trey Sermon as the starting running back. We had
yards.
Deebo Samuel primarily as a wide receiver. He got 2 carries for 0 yards, but it was before the transition to where you were actually using him as a running back. You had Javon Kinlaw was still starting at the 3 technique. He was still the interior run stuffing lineman before going out with that ACL injury. And that's what transformed our defense. So what I saw in that week 3 matchup was the Packers not having explosive plays on the ground game, but they did get 100 yards. And that to me was the difference. They were able to sort of grind it out and stay in it. Well, hello, who is joining us here?
Kylie, say hello.
Hi.
To 100 or 200 people.
Hi, Daddy, in the computer.
Here, I'll get back with you, okay? I'm going to finish this, and then I'll get out there, okay?
And then could you get
Sorry,
the
Rob.
iPad?
No, that's quite all right. We love young Niner faithful.
I will.
So that we can do it so we don't bother
All right.
you while you're working.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
She seems very sweet.
We're back.
She's good. She's good. She's going to be a 49er fan soon.
Yes.
Close the door, please. Thank you.
Yes, a future 49er faithful. Reminds me very much of my 2 nieces as well.
Let me jump on what you said, just because I know we have short time slots here.
No, please do.
You touched on 50% of what's going to be my next point. I vaguely went over what we need to do, but the 2 biggest differences on defense from week 3, DJ Jones in replacement of Kinlaw.
Yes.
And biggest of all, DeMeco Ryans is on game 18. He's not on game 3.
Yes.
He's a different coordinator. We play a different defense in terms of the way we play, not necessarily the scheme. And I really think in this game, it's going to be a much different test for Rodgers post-snap than he saw in week 3. Even if we have Ambry Thomas or Dante Johnson, we're not going to have Norman. We're going to have Mosley over on the other side.
Right.
As long as we get pressure, I think Rodgers is going to do what he did in 19. I'm going to see a couple interceptions on those. I need to get rid of it now. I'm going to anticipate Adams breaking or Valdez-Scantling breaking, and that's what we're good at with our CBs. We're always looking in the backfield because we have room. I mean, we have 10 yards to do it. So I really think those 2 things are going to be huge tells in this game. I don't want to hear about the cold. I don't want to hear about the conditions. Everybody's playing in it. Once you get adrenaline in the cold, it's not cold anymore. Mind over matter. But the final thing I'll say from importance, which is not a player thing here, win the toss.
Ooh.
Win the toss. Because regardless, if we're down at half, 7, 3 points, even if it's 2 scores, give me the ball coming out of half. We can remake this a game and finish the next 2 quarters the way we see fit.
I love it. I do think that having that second half kickoff is paramount for the 49ers. They have an uncanny ability to get those points within 2 minutes, ending the first half, and then come out and really shift the game, really swing momentum by scoring on both ends of halftime. And I do think that can absolutely tilt a game. And the Niners may need that in this one. If they don't start quickly, they will need some opportunity to swing that score. All right, we do have a couple of folks waiting in the chat, but Sean, if you want to stick around, I will come back to you as soon as we get through others as well. Sound good?
Yep. Last thing, Kittle, over 100 yards. He's going to be the player of the game for us.
Ooh, Kittle, over 100, player of the game. I love it. All right, I am going out with Sean 951, and we are bringing in Korean 49er. Korean 49er, how are you doing today? Great to see you. Up, you may be muted, good sir. Nope, no audio. Are you going to come back in? Okay, give it a try. I'll kick you out and see if we can't get you back in. All right, William Bennett. We are bringing William Bennett into the stream. What's up, William? How you doing, man? Loving the sweatshirt.
Thank you. Actually, it's a hoodie.
Nice.
Yeah, it was
Love
a gift. First of all, let me greet the faithful correctly.
Yes, sir. Cheers, good sir.
I just got a couple points I just wanted to run through because I know there's a lot of people waiting to talk.
Yeah, no problem.
I wrote down a couple of bullets. First of all, our team. I think we have one of the best blocking teams in the NFL. Reason being is our receivers.
Yes.
Everybody gives Kittle a lot of praise over his blocking skills.
Yes,
but
they do.
The thing that I have noticed in these past games has been Juwan Jennings. Ayuk have been blocking tremendously. Ayuk has turned. Everybody talks about Debo, but Ayuk has turned to a versatile player in his own right. Not only has he stepped up his receiving game, but his blocking game has been on fire.
I would agree with that. He's looked excellent out there.
My next point is Juwan Jennings. Juwan Jennings, I don't know where he has came from. I mean, I heard we briefly used to hear his name.
Yes.
And I remember hearing, I think even Granada, someone even saying that he shouldn't even be on the team.
Yes, people were calling for his release earlier in the season.
And he has turned into an elite player on this team. He has really, because people didn't believe he could really take over the position for Kendrick Bourne. And I love Kendrick Bourne. I hate that we had to lose him. I think he was a great asset to our team, but you got to get his money. I ain't mad at that.
That's true. Hey, that's right. He's got to earn his.
And but Juwan Jennings has taken his opportunity and ran from it. A lot of people say Juwan Jennings is taking reps from IU. That's not true. He's taking reps from Kittle.
Oh, okay.
Kittle used to get those third downs for us.
Yeah.
It's Juwan Jennings now. Not only is Juwan Jennings getting those third downs for us, but he's getting touchdowns for us.
He's a third down and touchdown machine.
And not only that, like I said, he blocks tremendously. His body size for a receiver is like a tight end.
Yes.
And I mean, it's just ridiculous.
He bodies up players much like you would in basketball. You watch him box out people. When he gets to the top of his route, he just boxes them out, turns. I mean, it's remarkable.
I mean, he abuses some of these players so much, some of these corners and DBs so much that they want to fight him.
Yes,
he's really physical with them, and I love it. My next point is Debo. What can we say about Debo? I just want to touch on one point. It's rare to have a player tell his head coach, because I'm glad they released the soundbite. Tell his head coach, hey, give me the ball. I'm going to score. And go out and do it.
It's wild. You don't call your shot in football. Like, nobody does that. Nobody does that. But Debo did that.
Babe Ruth stuff.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, he pointed to the end zone and went and did it. I mean, and if you listen to the soundbite, when he told Cal, give me the ball, and went out there and did it, and then came back to the sideline, he said, see, I told you, give me the ball. If you listen to the soundbite, what did Cal say? Cal said, thanks for telling me. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. He's just like everyone said, he's an offensive weapon. You can't put him in a box. To me, he should be the MVP of the league.
I agree.
I've never seen a player just plays different positions that his team needs him to be, needs and take his team into the playoffs.
Yeah, he has stepped up and done everything that the 49ers have asked of him and then some. And he is the physical tone setter for this team.
I'm trying to tell you, it's like, it's freaky. It's unreal. And I know a lot of teams try to copy it, but their players just not built like Debo. They're just not. He's just a physical dude type of dude. My next point is IU. I'm calling IU my number one receiver, not because of, Debo. I think Debo is just a weapon. I don't even look at him as a receiver or anything anymore. He's just a weapon. IU is our number one receiver. He's not fast where he's like Randy Moss or anything, and he's just going to run these long streaks for us. But his breaking speed, if you see how he did Diggs in that game, it was the cuts. Boom, boom. If we would have put the game away, people say, well, when did we bring the Cowboys get back in the game? The Cowboys didn't get back in the game on the interception. The Cowboys got back in the game on that missed pass to IU.
Yeah.
I would have got that pass and made that first down. There would be no clock. You understand? We would have scored off of that. It would be no, let's get it back and do it. Because honestly, to my point, I was upset with the turnover. The reason being is I expect Jimmy to do one. The team expects it. But I blame the turnover that it got Fred Warner hurt.
I thought that myself when it happened real time.
Fred Warner isn't on the field. If that pass would have hit IU hands, Fred Warner's not on the field. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. No, I thought the same thing when you saw Fred Warner go down. I thought, man, if we hadn't turned the ball over there, it was a sequence of events that led to that injury.
Cause and effect. My next point is Mitchell. Even though Mitchell didn't have the type of running game he normally does, it's just that constant pounding. I tell my kids that I coach, every run doesn't have to be for 10 yards, 15 yards. Sometimes it's those 3 yards and stuff that you keep hitting a player in the mouth that he gets tired.
Yes.
He's like, come on. And the type of runner that Mitchell is, he doesn't shy away from contact. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
He's going to turn when you come at. He's going to go ahead at you.
No, he's going to get those extra couple of yards because he's going to run through you.
He's going to try to run through. I love the rookie, but I would like to see us use Wilson a little more.
Yeah, no, that's fair. To spell him a little bit. I think you should if you're trying to get to 40 carries.
So as much because he's actually really injured.
Yeah.
He's playing through that. You feel what I'm saying? So let's preserve the young man so that next year he does have a knee to stand on. You know what I'm saying? But terrific young man. My next bullet point is, I said it, I touched on it before, was Jimmy. I think the reason we have the injuries we have is because of Jimmy. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate Jimmy and all he has done for our franchise. I really do. Take nothing from that young man. The thing that gets me is because of his limited style of play, the team knows, well, I can't run, catch the ball isn't going to hit me in stride. I'm not going to be able to just run. I got to kind of slow up and stay back or run to a certain distance because I know Jimmy is only going to be able to hit me here, which put the receivers and the team in danger. It creates those turnovers, and plus your players get hurt because they know I got to literally, instead of outrunning this corner or this DB or whatever, I have to actually, I know I'm going to have to take a hit and try to make some yak from it. Your players aren't going to keep being able to do that and not get injuries. I think once Trey Lance stamp in next year and it opens more up the field, you won't see as many injuries with the 49ers. Of course, you will have injuries. It's a physical game, but you won't have as much as we get. My next point is.
Hold up. Let me jump in just for a second, William. I had to mute you for a second to do a test because I think I may have been getting a little feedback on your end. If you can turn down the volume on your side so that when I come through, it doesn't reverberate back into the computer. And then in the chat, if you guys can tell me if I sound better right now, that would be much appreciated. But yeah, we're going to wrap on the final point here, William, and then I'm going to get down to Korean 49er, who is back down waiting in there. Hold on, let me get you unmuted here so that you can finish up, William.
Okay. My last point is the team. If you notice how this team is playing, it's being prepped for Trey Lance. We're throwing the ball more. They're having Jimmy actually throw the ball more to players outside the numbers, a little further than he's comfortable with. So to me, the team is being prepped for Trey Lance, and I like to call Jimmy Fire Marshal Bill. You remember Fire Marshal Bill? How he's the firefighter, but he usually starts the fire. You know, so he's got to like Fire Marshal Bill to me. But hey, I appreciate the time. Hey, go Niners. It was a great win against the Cowboys, but it's time to move on, beat these Green Bay. I know Aaron Rodgers watched that game and was just lost his mind. Was like, oh my gosh.
Yes,
but hey,
sir.
Here's to you Niners. Let's go get them. Super Bowl bang.
Let's get it. All right, William. Hey, man, great to see you again. We will see you next time, my friend.
Hey, been a pleasure.
Always, William, always. All right, bringing Korean 49er back in. Yeah, I think that was just a reverberation of my sound coming through William's phone and then back in and getting re-recorded. Sounds like it is all good now. We are going to bring in Korean 49er. Let's see if we got that audio. How you doing, man?
Good, Rob. How are you?
Doing very well. Glad that I can hear you, sir. Now, first and foremost, I have to lay out the very clear thank you for some inside information that you're providing me about my time in Green Bay, giving me the spot that I want to hit for the pregame to get that all-you-can-eat buffet, stay indoors, stay warm, have access to bathrooms, and then the inside information on the seat cushion that will be needed as well. So I wanted to say thank you for providing that insider information. It's much appreciated.
Seat cushions is depending on what sections you're in. So who knows if you have one of those cold aluminum benches.
Oof.
$6 is cheap insurance for your backside.
Yes, it is. Yes, I would like to keep my tuchus as warm as possible.
Oh, yes, and load up on food and maybe a little bit of beer when you can, so you don't have to pay whatever it is for beer at these events anymore. So who knows?
Yeah, it's a little bit crazy, that's for sure.
So in this game, I see it as a line of scrimmage game because the first thing I would do is what D'Amico didn't do in the first game. He didn't blitz the backup tackles. I believe Green Bay had backup tackles, and I don't think that they tried to at least see what they could do. And I know David Bakhtiari is coming back full time in this game, so you might as well see what he can handle.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's got to have some rust. There's a potential, I guess, that he doesn't come back. I would think that he is going to start, given the hullabaloo that we have heard this week. But, I mean, you haven't played all season. You have to test him. You have to test him the same way you would figure Aaron Rodgers will attempt to test our secondary because we gave up so many defensive pass interference penalties. You would think he's going to come right out and take some shots. We need to do the same thing against Bakhtiari and that offensive line. Test them.
Exactly. Just see what they can handle. You never know what they can or can't do until you give it a shot.
Yes.
It can't be just one or two times in the first quarter and just say, oh, we're going to put this back for later. You just got to continually do it.
Yes.
So
we've got a suggestion from Oncey Fighting saying I should get a cheese head and sit on that as a cushion just to do the maximum amount of disrespect. I probably will not do that. I'm a very respectful opposing fan, but I thought that was clever. Had to put it in there.
The foam cheese heads aren't cheap, so you don't want. I have a buddy who has one. He said he spent like $40 on it. I'm like,
oh man. That's just marketing genius to understand that you could take a piece of styrofoam, color it in, cut it out like it's Swiss cheese, and sell it for $40.
hey man, to each their own on that one. So
yeah, capitalism, baby.
So yes, so for that, I also have to say they have to keep the ball away from Aaron Rodgers because he could make one or two passes and it's going to be a touchdown. So the team 49ers need to score at least 28 points.
Yes, I like that prediction. I like that. Do you think they're going to get there? You think Niners score 28?
I think they have a good chance if they keep the ball, run the ball with efficiency and not let Jimmy be start a problem with throwing into triple coverage and that kind of thing.
If you had to limit the number of pass attempts that Jimmy Garoppolo was going to throw in this one, what would be your target number?
15 or less.
Woof. That is a low throwing game, mostly on the ground. Would you then want to see that 40 carry game that we see, that coveted 40 carry game?
Yep, we need at least 40 carries and just distribute the ball to as many different runners as we can.
That makes sense. Let's bring in Mark's question here, and we'll answer it both. How do you feel about Packers defense holding up against our run? So if we're going to be running the ball 40 times, if that's going to be the goal, how do you see it breaking out?
I would say don't run it directly at Kenny Clark. He is a very good player in that middle of the defensive line. And
yes, he is.
You need to at least start testing the edges first before you try to run inside.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly because on the interior, the Packers are very stout, and it is primarily because of Kenny Clark. You actually have Zadarius Smith also coming back from a long-term injury. He's been out since October. I would, again, test him in the same way that you're suggesting testing David Bakhtiari. I would run right at him. I would see if he is conditioned to take it because the Packers are significantly weaker on the edges, and that's the more likely scenario for the 49ers to get those explosive running plays.
Also, let's take a shot at Jair Alexander because I know he hasn't played a ton of games either. Not saying doing it right off the bat, but at least throw a deep ball his way just to see, hey, what can you do or what you can't do.
Yeah, that's the one that I'm most fearful of attempting to test. It occurred to me as well. I was going through and thinking, well, who are the injured guys that are coming back? They're going to have rust. Well, the pass rusher, he's probably going to be able to get after Jimmy because even coming off of injury, you just got to beat the man in front of you and get after the quarterback. But in the run game, he may be susceptible. He may not be as stout, and so you run directly at him to test that Packers offense. But on Jair Alexander, my fear is that in testing him, does Jimmy make a mistake? So that's the one I'm hesitant about. But I think you're right. You have to try. Yeah,
to me, they have injured starters coming back. What's the word? I mean, nobody wants a turnover or a mistake, but you need to know what those guys can do in holding up during the games.
Yeah, Lepakalolo, a sneakerhead as well here on the channel, would limit it even further and limit Jimmy down to only 8 pass attempts. It speaks to just how we all feel about putting the ball into Jimmy Garoppolo's hands to attempt to win this game. And I think that speaks to the Niners needing to come out fast. They need to come out fast. They need to run the ball effectively so that they're not behind in this game and then forced into a situation where they have to rely on Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah. So, one other food tip for you. I don't know if you like fish and chips, but I don't know if you have walleye out there in the Northwest as an option for fish and chips.
Typically, we've got cod and halibut are the 2 options. I get it from, there's actually a dope spot here in Portland that's owned by Ndamukong Suh, who is a Portland native. He owns a restaurant here that does great fish and chips. I get the halibut most times, but I'm going to give that a shot, a day in court to get the walleye.
Yeah, so also so another tip, if you're driving out of O'Hare Airport, like that first little bit out of Illinois into Wisconsin is kind of, not much to see. But once you kind of get past into Milwaukee, there's a little bit more to see. But then as you get, depending on how you get close into Green Bay, the first thing you should see is the outline of Lambeau with the big green background with the Packer G on it. So it's kind of like driving into Ann Arbor. If you don't see the blue background with the M on it, you're kind of in the wrong place.
That's great. I want to show. I've been telling people I'm going to throw up the parka that I'm going to wear. So I'm going to throw this up while you're on with me. You ready for this? You want to see what I'm going to be wearing at the stadium? All right. My wife got this because she was looking for a parka, but it was like 17 sizes too big for her. It's too big for me, but it's going to fit over top of all my clothing. Got the old classic 90s parka. Straight up. Got that 90s color scheme. Look at that bad boy. The Pro Line parka. What do you think?
I remember those. I liked them.
Yes. I'm telling you, that is what's going to be keeping me, my top layer. That's what's keeping me warm.
I wanted that starter jacket that just had the quarter zip.
Ooh, yes. Yes, those were sweet. Everything starter and Chalkline were fantastic products.
Yes. So the thing is, just load up on the food when you can at that buffet. You'll be very happy not to have to go in a cold porta potty outside because they have a lot of those for all the activities, for all the tailgating they do out there. So, but yes, they do.
I'm most excited about that, about being able to use the indoor restrooms. Honestly, the cost of the buffet is worth it just for that respect, just to have access to indoor restrooms up until kickoff. Because, when you're wearing 17 layers, to try and undo all of that in a porta potty in freezing cold, like that is, forget about it. That is not cool.
No, you don't want to do that. Also, people are generally friendly there, so it's not not have to worry about like some of the Cowboy fans that got angry and decided to want to throw some fists. Generally, they're happy drunks there.
I've been talking to some folks like, the people at the hotel, and everyone is so kind. Everyone is just so friendly. I've been really enjoying it. It reminds me of this conversation that we're having right now, and I'm sure most of them are Packers fans. So I imagine this will be like when I visited Carolina in the playoffs, and everybody was just really, really friendly and respectful. And I do the same. I return that favor because I'm all about being nice and having a good time.
So it'll be a good time. And after the game, there's a ton of bars outside that area. So if you didn't get a spotted cow beer, go for it, because those are the kind of things you need to do there. You can't just say you're going to eat somewhere, a national chain, unless that's the only thing available.
Right. No, I definitely want some cheese curds. I want the real deal Green Bay experience. That's what I'm looking for. So
generally the cheeseheads, they're not styrofoam. They're made of that polyurethane foam.
Nice.
So they're not like kind of hard and brittle. They're just kind of, you can squeeze them.
Yeah, they got a little bit of give to them. Well, that could be good for a cushion. Again, not something you want to spend $40 for a cushion, but it would work.
Yeah. So just be prepared. You're going to see a lot of, it's kind of weird if you're living in Wisconsin. I don't live in Wisconsin. I live just south of the Wisconsin border, but where I live, there's still a ton of Green Bay fans. So just when you go across the Wisconsin border, it's very difficult to be a Bears fan living in
Nice.
Wisconsin. That's what
Yeah.
I've
Oh,
always
I
been
bet.
told. Just
I
because,
bet.
when the Bears are bad and the Packers are good, you just get it on all sides.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I bet. I bet. All right. Any final thoughts on the game this weekend? Any predictions?
Just the 49ers need to score touchdowns and not field goals unless you're going for
Ooh,
a game-winning field goal.
I like that.
And I think the 49ers, the score is going to be 31-28.
31-28. I like that final score. I love it.
So, all right. Thanks, Rob.
Hey, wonderful to see you virtually, Ekim. Pleasure to have you on. Thank you for reaching out with all of the information, and I look forward to seeing you again on future Sneakerhead call-in shows.
I'll try to call in as often as I can. Thank you.
I love it. All right, have a good one. Enjoy the game.
Thank you. You too.
Awesome. All right, I had Crazy B Cody had been in and out. I think he was having connection issues, but Crazy B Cody, if you are watching, get in here. I'm going to go with a couple of comments to see if you can get back into the waiting room in just 1 second before I go to the next. Texas Niner coming in at Rob. Has Trey Sermon been active for the past few games? Ohio State is in a cold area. Want 10 carries for Sermon. No, he hasn't been active. I mean, he has been activated. He was taken off of the IR, the short-term IR that he was on there, and just hasn't been active on game days so far as I'm aware. I believe that the Niners have just been going with 3 backs, and they preferred to have JaMychal Hasty available as that third down back. It'll be interesting to see who the inactives are on Saturday. I thought we were going to potentially have 10 active D linemen against the Cowboys. We didn't. You have the return as well of our return man, Trenton Cannon. And so it'll be interesting to see which 4 backs actually suit up on Sunday. Talking about 6301 at Rob Schuh. After we win, there should be an abundance of smoked cheese. I love smoked cheese. Give me a little smoked Gouda, please. Sean951, we're going to bring you back in talking about that jacket. The responses to the parka were good. That is fire. More fire. People loving it. Oh, yeah. Oncey Fighting coming in. Nice, Rob. Dan coming in. Nice jacket. Ellis 10, one of our sneakerheads, looks dope. Parka is legit, Matthew W. Coming from one of our sneakerheads. Sorry about that. Ellis 10, not a sneakerhead. Matthew W, sneakerhead, coming in. Josh G had the jacket like that growing up. Mark correctly calling out it is big and obnoxious, and therefore it is wonderful. Yeah, I am pretty excited about wearing that thing into the stadium. It will be an epic game. I mean, I am going to take this one as a wonderful experience, something that going to Lambeau, this is the first time for me. I am attempting to go to all the stadiums around the NFL, and this is the first time I will be at Lambeau Stadium. I wanted to do it in January just like this, where hopefully there'll be some snow flurries that happen that day. I don't need them during the game, just that day. And then it will be cold as all get out. Absolutely. But the Niners are going to steamroll the Packers. I want to see something. I'm throwing this in. This is something that Everett Days submitted. This is proof positive of what the 49ers and Deebo Samuel are going to do to those Packers out in Lambeau. Going to push them aside, physically assault them as a snowplow does the snow. That is the way in which we attack this team. Run. And I think it works out well for the 49ers. I certainly have them coming out victorious in this one. All right, we got Chris Royal coming in. We haven't yet gotten back to Cody. Hopefully he can get in if he's having issues. If not, we'll be back with Sean951 after Chris. Bringing Chris into the video. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
Doing very well. Very excited about this matchup. How about yourself?
Oh, not too bad. Me and the wife are in Lincoln City for our anniversary, so I was going to call in real quick and just kind of give my thoughts on the game.
Very nice. Very nice. Which anniversary are you celebrating?
We're celebrating our dating anniversary. She celebrates the dating
Ooh.
anniversary as well. I usually don't even remember the date, so that kind of gets me in trouble. So,
Yes, you shouldn't have admitted that on this broadcast, but I would have done the same thing. You know, we let the truth come out and then we get in a little bit of trouble for it.
for sure. So I honestly, the more I think about this game, the more the game kind of concerns me, and
Uh-oh, tell me about it.
it really just it really comes down to the health of Jimmy Garoppolo. Um, I tweeted to you and a couple of the other guys, Jesse, that, you know, we probably barely beat Green Bay with Jimmy healthy. But since he's dealing with two injuries to the throwing arm, it's really concerning that we're still leaning towards probably starting him. And I think that might come back to bite us in the butt.
You're worried that he's going to be less than 100%, and that's going to impact him throughout this game, in particular with the cold weather?
Yeah, for sure.
That makes sense. It did come out today that he's not actually listed on the injury report, which was an interesting update. I heard that on NFL radio today as I was actually driving home before the broadcast. He is not listed as questionable or any injury designation. I don't know if that's further gamesmanship or what, because certainly on Tuesday he talked about feeling the shoulder just as much as he was feeling the thumb at that point. So it seemed that he was hurting. But if you believe the injury report today, it's not that bad.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, maybe it got better, but I mean, they're going to be playing in, single digit temperature that, the turf or the grass, whatever they play on, is going to be
Yeah.
rock hard.
Yeah,
So, I
if
mean,
you
it
go
just
back and
takes,
watch that Colin Kaepernick led playoff matchup where it was 5 degrees out, the turf was coming up in clumps. I mean, it was pretty weird. It was definitely somewhat frozen. They have heating elements underneath the field, so it keeps it from actually being frozen. But you do, wonder how soil and grass is impacted that time of year. And so again, if conditions are the way that they were in that game, it could be sort of a sloppy one. Now, if you're in charge, right, I think Kyle Shanahan's made it really clear he's rolling with Jimmy. He's rolling with Jimmy even if Jimmy's less than 100%. But let's put you in Kyle Shanahan's shoes. Let's say that you're in charge and you decide you're starting Jimmy, but you're keeping a short leash on it. What are you looking for? How soon would you pull the ripcord and go to Lance? What would be those key factors that you would see and say, nope, Jimmy's not 100%. He's out of there.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to get to too, is that, we're obviously running with Jimmy, but I think he's really got to look at the game. And if it's playing out like that second half of the Dallas game where he's just completely inaccurate, he's overthrowing, underthrowing. I think, I hesitate to say pull him after one pick because that's just what Jimmy does. He throws one pick, but I don't know if we can afford a second one.
That's
So
fair.
I think it would be a combination of if he throws a pick,
Okay.
and how accurate he is on his passes. But
So you're looking at completion percentage and ball placement on those balls over the middle, whether he is typical Jimmy where they're in that tight window or if he's sailing them a little bit and they become tip drills.
Yeah, I mean, if, it's going to be hard to catch the ball. So, I mean, we could see a lot of passes that are tipped and then defenders dropping them and could have possibly turned into an interception. So just the accuracy portion of it for sure.
That makes sense. How do you
But
think
I
the
definitely
Niners
think-
attack them?
I hope we run the ball just right down their throat. I mean, they're not very good at stopping the run. They're not horrid. I think somebody had said they're middle of the pack, but that plays in our favor because I mean we've played against teams that had some pretty good run defense and we still shoved it down their throat. So
yeah. And they are allowing 4.7 yards per carry, which is tied for fourth most in the NFL.
Okay, so definitely. So I think that should be our first goal, and really limit Jimmy's throwing to about 10 to 15 passes if we can.
So flashback to last year's playoffs where it was all about running the ball, take it out of Jimmy's hands, and attempt to milk the clock.
Yes, I mean, especially if we're starting him and he's not 100%, I think that would probably be the best bet. Hopefully we can see Lance at least for a couple plays or something, but I seriously doubt it's going to happen at this point.
Me too, and I've been calling for that for a long time. I do think that it would be beneficial to stress the Packers defense, much like you could stress any defense that you come up against by bringing Lance in specific packages where he's very clear on what the options are, where you're in, a second and short situation such that if the down doesn't go as planned and you get 0 yards, you can still stay on track by Jimmy coming in and completing a manageable third down. That for me would set up nicely to take these shot plays that Green Bay is going to take against us that we don't necessarily take with Jimmy Garoppolo behind center.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you're going to bring Lance in, that'd be a good time to throw those deep passes because they're probably going to assume that we're going to use him in the run game somehow. So it might catch him off guard.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Now,
Yep.
The 49ers have a terrible special teams unit. There are very few teams in the league that actually have worse special teams unit. But as Raphael 562 Niners points out, Niners special teams need help, but the Packers special teams is a dumpster fire. Do you think we actually have the advantage here?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that our special teams won't be the reason why we would lose.
Good.
I think
A little redemption for
solid.
Richard Hightower.
Hopefully. I don't say that with a lot of confidence, but I'm hoping.
Love it. Hey, question for you from George coming in. Where does everyone get the little Joker shirts from? Is that from Nike, if I understand it correctly?
I think we got this from NFLshop.com.
Ooh, nice. NFLshop.com. I certainly get a lot of my own stuff from there.
My wife said Nike store, apparently.
Ooh, okay. Nike store it is.
Yes.
Very nice.
So I'll just end with this so I can get back to my little anniversary get together. I do think we'll win the game. I'm not completely confident on it, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say we win by 3. I'm thinking 27-24.
I love it.
Hopefully Robbie Gould brings his A game because we'll probably need him.
Yes, he will. He will need to be clutch. The man has delivered in the playoffs to this point. I'm very excited that, this looks like it could be a close one. I agree. I like all the predictions that are Niners winning by 1 to 4 points. That to me is sort of the delta that I'm looking at. I've got a very similar score to yours. Mine's 27-25 instead of your 27-24. Either way, that would be a very much a nail biter. I will be in the stands shivering with cold and excitement. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, hopefully we blow them out. I don't see it happening, but,
I would feel a lot warmer if we get a win.
For sure. Absolutely.
Nice. Always a pleasure having you on here, Chris. Thank you so much for making time to come in, even in the midst of the anniversary celebration. Please tell your significant other that I say hello and that we have released you back into her care.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Rob.
Absolutely. All the time. Look forward to see you again, Chris.
Yes.
Bye-bye. All right. We've got Waruna in the chat room coming in. Waruna, how are you doing, my friend? Good to see you.
I'm doing good. I hope you are good as well.
Yes, I am, a little bit stressed in that I booked all these live streams for myself tonight because, I want to get all this content in there. I've got a 30-minute show coming up with a Packers insider, brought on a Packers podcaster to come give us the inside scoop. We are doing that one at 5:30. And then I will be on one last time with Aaron from 49ers First Takes at 6:30. Both of those things happening here on the channel. I had to get plenty of content up on the channel for tomorrow where I'll be, traveling to Green Bay and we'll have limited access. I don't know what kind of internet I'm going to have at my Best Western Plus or whatever it was that I'm staying at in Appleton, Wisconsin.
But I hope they have fixed it by now. Most
Yes,
probably.
you would hope so.
Yes. I mean, I'm stressed out as well because I'm like, okay, one more day and another 10 hours. So hopefully, you never know what's going to happen. I would say Green Bay still are the favorites. I hope
Yes.
there is nothing wrong about saying that because now we think about this matchup saying, okay, week 3, we did not have some of the players playing and we had some mismatches. But at the same time, Green Bay did not have David Bakhtiari and some other players coming back, and they are well rested, and they are also like well-oiled machine at this time. So they are also calibrated well,
Right.
given the situation. And of course, when you have Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, you don't have to worry about other weaknesses that you have in your unit because Aaron Rodgers is like autopilot. So you
Yeah.
can just set it to autopilot mode and just let it fly. So that's the advantage you have. But having said all that, watching how 49ers played, especially during last couple of weeks, I think two key things that might help us win.
Okay.
So first thing is that 49ers, especially in last 2 weeks, they were the clearly team on the field that wanted it more. I'm not saying that
Yes.
Rams did not want to win or Cowboys did not want to win, but 49ers were more hungry. They wanted that win really badly, especially during last game. Because if you think about how Cowboys played week 1 against the defending champions at their home stadium, that Cowboy team versus the Cowboys team played during the wild card weekend, there was a huge difference. It felt like Cowboys did not want to go hard at it. They had
Right.
an I mean 15 million running back. They have very good wide receivers, a good quarterback, having everything in their arsenal, but still they failed to come back or grab the opportunities they had. I mean, they were just complaining about the referees and whatnot, but if they really wanted to win the game, there was opportunity because Jimmy gave them opportunity, but still they couldn't make it out. So I think that's one of the reasons makes me not comfortable, I would say, but gives me hope that this 49ers team has that attitude. They want it more
Yeah, they're going
than
to
the
come
other
out
team.
and physically assert themselves on the opposing team and impose their wills on them.
Yes.
I
So
agree.
then the other thing is that we have nothing to lose in terms of the game. This season, we were coming out and trying to prove a lot of things that we said, okay, we have a Super Bowl caliber roster
Yep.
and we can develop Trey Lance while keeping Jimmy G. Everything that happened, I think this team has overcome so many things. So even this weekend, I think Packers are under more pressure because they have made
Mm.
it to the championship game 3 times.
Yeah.
And I believe if I was a Packer fan, I would think if we do not win another Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, when he has another, I mean, MVP season, it would be a waste because you have so much of opportunities. You have the number 1 seed and everything. So I think they are the ones who are under pressure in their home stadium to do well. And 49ers are, on the other hand, they are the only team remaining from the wild card teams coming into the divisional round. All other 7 teams are winners from their respective divisions. So this team has even it's like if 49ers lose this game, national media or anyone wouldn't say anything. I mean,
Right.
we would argue among ourselves, okay, whether they wasted the year not playing Trey Lance or whatnot, but national media won't give that much of attention. So they will talk about, okay, whether Aaron Rodgers choke during the playoff time. Because right now he has been to 5 NFC championship games. He has won only one.
And
That
that year, they were sort of the underdogs. They were the ones with nothing to lose.
sixth
They
seed.
basically were the Niners at that point, right? They were the 6th seed that year, I
Yes.
believe. And I
Yes.
remember because I bet on them. I saw the odds that broke out and I thought, wow, the Packers are really hot right now, and they're going off at great odds just because they're the 6th seed, but they're actually the best team in the NFC right now. I threw down I think it was like $100, $200, and it paid out pretty handsomely on that one, laying that bet. And I feel very similarly about this 49ers team. I agree with you that it is a team with nothing to lose, with very little pressure on it. And I think that bodes well for Jimmy Garoppolo not to feel that pressure.
Yeah. The last thing I would say, even though we made mistakes, whether it's defense, whether it's at quarterback, most of these games that we lost, we didn't lose by very high margins, because we
Right.
saw what happened to Patriots against Bills. They were completely blown away. Even when we had our weaknesses and everything, when we were like 3-5, still we were like, other than the Cardinals game where we lost by two touchdowns. The scoreline was 31-17. Almost all the games were pretty close, that somehow, for some reason, and because think about this, the Texans game, yes, it was an easy win, but week before that, Texans scored 41 points against Chargers, who are led by defensive led head coach Brandon Staley.
Right.
But when it comes to 49ers, they kept them for only 7 points. Even Trey Lance was struggling at the first half. He only 3 points. Defense were like, okay, Trey, you take your time. We'll hold the fort. Okay,
Yes.
okay.
We'll hold this one down for you.
Yes. So again, that gives me some belief, because we kind of have an attitude that for somehow, somewhere, a, a player can pop up and say, okay, this is my chance, this is my day, I'm going to take it, I'm going to help you guys out. So that's what we saw. I hope you saw the video of Debo Samuel saying after the Dak Prescott interception, he said, okay, Kyle, give me the ball, give me the ball.
Yes.
When he scored, he said, I told you, thank you for telling me. So I think that gives me the hope, because we saw Brandon Ayuk was on the doghouse. Now he's back. Travis Benjamin, Trent Sherfield, who, I mean, you think about some of the players that we never thought who would succeed. The player, Charles Omne, who I think I pronounced his
Omnihu.
name, Omnehu. So we have so many players. I thought when Aziz Al-Sharia went down, we might have some weakness in our linebacker department, but we are still performing at a very good level. So that gives us, I think, real good hopes. But end of the day, even if goes south and it lose game, I would be still hold my head high and say we fought it really hard, and that was a hell of a season. I would say that.
I'm with you wholeheartedly on that regardless of this outcome, I'm grateful for the way in which this season played out. And I'm going into this one, so it'll sting quite a bit if I fly all the way out to Lambeau and we get an L. But I'm still going to take that away as a positive. I'm still going to take this season away as a positive. I'm still going to appreciate the memory of going to Lambeau Field, regardless of how it turns out. Now, that would be a hell of a lot better if the Niners get that W. So, Waruna, closing this out, let me know, what are your thoughts on the game? What's your prediction?
Being a Niner fan, I want to say we would win by close margin. But I still think for some reason that Rodgers will find a way to come up victorious. I hate to say that. I hope that I am wrong on this. But I have a feeling that even by a last minute field goal that Packers eventually take the victory. But I really hope I'm wrong on this.
Well, I hope you are too. I think that this defense,
Yes.
this defense sets up for the 49ers to control this one. And so I do, I respect the opinion, and it absolutely could turn out that way. but I do hope that you're wrong. I hope that this defense comes through as you said it would, and that it carries this offense, and all we need is that run game to be consistent and churn away and just milk away this game. Well, I appreciate you coming on, Waruna. It is always a
And
pleasure
I
chatting
want to
with you.
throw one stat at you that
Please
kind
do.
of scared me, that I checked today. We talk about that possession, ball control. Green Bay, they are the number one in terms of ball control possession. They have
Ooh.
like 34 minutes per game, and 49ers are at 12th position. That in a way scares me, because that's a stat I think most of us did not pick up.
No, I think it'll be interesting to see in this game how it shakes out, because of the fact that, you know, you're looking at a completely different team that has a very stout run defense and may take away what the Packers do so well that allows them to get to that. But I will be looking at that stat. I will be looking at time of possession in this one. I think whichever way it goes, that could be the deciding factor.
Yes. Thank you for having me. So
Absolutely, Waruna. Always enjoy the conversation, and we will see you again next time, good sir.
okay, have a good night. Have a good,
All right, you
have
too.
a safe flight.
Thank you. I will. All right, we are going to bring Sean951 back in to close us out, but I want to get to a couple of comments before I do. I saw Texas Niner. I am in complete agreement with one of our sneakerheads here saying Niners are playing the best team ball right now. They absolutely are. Complementary football. They are doing the things they need to do in order to win in this game against the Packers. They are stopping the run. They are getting after the passer. They are successfully running the ball, and they are very efficient on third downs and in the red zone. If all of those things hold serve, if the Niners are just able to continue on with that, then yes, I think the Niners have the edge in this one. Chris Royal, another sneakerhead. Our boys are for sure kicking it into a different gear. That intensity hopefully will be what gives us the edge. I believe it will. Truth told, not sold. Another sneakerhead on the channel at Rob. Just like we owned the Rams with now 6 in a row. Well, A-Rod is 0-3 against us. We're going to make it 0-4. The pressure isn't on us. It's clearly on Green Bay and their MVP. It's so true that at the end of this one, there will be a lot of comments about Aaron Rodgers if the Niners come out victorious. One Bad Hawkeye coming in at Rob. I saw a comment on Grant Cohn's channel I thought you'd get a kick out of. Jimmy G is like that dumb fourth wheel on a shopping cart, just messing everything up. I know a lot of 49er fans feel that way. I don't. I respect the quarterback. I respect what he can do. I also acknowledge what he can't do and what he does extremely inefficiently or inconsistently. I think Jimmy comes up with a clean game in this one. Call me crazy, but I am putting my neck out there and saying that. Chris Royal coming in with the super chat. Much appreciated. Thanks for the conversation, Rob. I always enjoy your trip to Lambeau Field, and make sure to pin it up on the map. You know that I will. Go Niners, and let's beat them cheeseheads. Yes, I love the positivity. All right, one more. Here we go. Yes, this one, Texas Niner. You will be present to a Niner blowout. Niners win by double freaking digits. I love it. On that note, bringing Sean951 back in. I only got a couple of minutes because I got the 5:30 show and I got to get a little break in between, but I wanted to end on a positive note, you and me rapping a little bit about this one. So help me out here. What's the positive, Sean? What angle are we going to take to give faith to the faithful?
But see, this is what's funny. I flip it right back at everyone else. Like, what is possibly the negative? I mean, is it the cold? Because let me just rattle some things off. I'm going to try to name something Green Bay's better than the 49ers at this year. Wins?
Yeah.
Okay, sure, wins. Time of possession, Waruna said that? Yeah, barely, but not over the last 8 weeks, not including last week. It's not the same team as the beginning of the year. Green Bay has a worse offense, so 49er fans who don't do the research, they just love Aaron Rodgers. Great quarterback, doesn't have a better offense than ours. Look at the stats.
Yeah, not in the advanced metrics.
Shoot, they don't even have a better defense than we do.
Nope.
Huh. You already alluded to, even though we are poo-poo on special teams. They are
very much poo-poo. Yeah. Yeah,
So
they
there's
are
no advantage there. Let's be honest. Do they have an advantage in the coaching category? No.
No.
Period. No, I don't care if it's McVay or any of his disciples. The answer is no. Do they have a better defensive coordinator than us? The answer is no. They literally only have a few position players that trump position players. We still have 5 Pro Bowlers. We have 2 All-Pros. At the end of the day, I'm pretty sure last week against the Cowboys, #1 offense. And they, as I alluded to earlier, my prediction almost came true, barring Jimmy throwing his pick. At the end of the day, there's nothing for the 49ers to be afraid of in this game. Anyone who comes into the playoffs in the 6 and 7 seed, you're playing house money. You have no home games. You're always going to be the underdog. May not be a popular underdog, but
Right.
You're going to be an underdog. So at the end of the day, it's always going to be, oh my gosh, what do we need to do? Every game we do the same thing. It's not a trick. Do we ever come on here and say, wow, we switched it up this game. Jimmy threw for 50 times. That's not – so there's no reason to even chat about it. Kyle's going to do the same thing. He doesn't care if Jimmy's thumb hurts or he's not even on the injury report. Full participant.
Yep.
I mean, what else do we need to know? So he already said Lance is the one who's acting like Rodgers on the scout team. So we can throw all that stuff to bed. Go out and play our game. Start fast. Win the coin toss. Try to go back-to-back before and after half. And I'm telling you right now, Green Bay mentally doesn't. It's just like with the Rams. They do not have the edge against us mentally. The game week 3 does not matter. 2020 does not matter. They know in playoff time, and they know watching tape, we are not the same team on defense with the speed that we have, and we're not the same team on offense with Debo in the way that we're playing right now, especially our O-line. And another key thing that nobody's brought up today, is anybody better at right tackle right now than Tom Compton? I mean, I'm just saying.
Unbelievable. He's ranked only behind Trent Williams in run blocking grade. Just wild. Absolutely wild.
So where's the weakness? I mean, if someone was to say, give me confidence, I think that was your original question. Give me something to be positive about. I challenge, other than cold, give me something that makes me have less confidence or any doubt and 1% of doubt. I think
none. The only one that's out there, Chris Royal points it out, right? The only thing that we need to be really concerned about is Aaron Rodgers, right? He is the one that all of this pressure lies upon. And I'm not saying that we can't handle Rodgers. I think that we do have a recipe for attempting to corral him. I do think it will be difficult to do, but I think it's absolutely possible.
Well, I mean, so if you were to ask anybody anything in life about how difficult something going to be, you're going to pull on past.
Yes.
And that's common sense, right? So let's pull on the past. What real worry do we have about Aaron Rodgers? He has not beat us in the playoffs. He throws picks in every one of those games. And normally they're behind, so they abandon the run, and he becomes what we don't want to see out of Jimmy Garoppolo. And what did that lead to in a 27-0 halftime score in 2019? A pick by Mosley, touchdown. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. A lot of dump offs. Greenlaw was big in that game. We have the same pieces. Like, people have to understand, they don't like to go to 19. Now we're in the playoffs. Go back to 19. We have the same quarterback. We have virtually the same O-line. Staley wasn't a scrub, so I know we have Trent Williams.
Yep.
McGlinchey was actually, that was when he played well, was in 2019. So we can't use Compton. We had good running backs. Our wide receivers, Debo and Emmanuel Sanders, and those very similar comps to Ayuk and such. You go to the defense, the core's there. Green Bay's the ones who should be sitting there going, crap, we've lost at home in the playoffs the last 4 times that we were at our home in the playoffs, whether it was NFC Championship or Divisional. They didn't win in the cold against the Giants. They didn't win in the cold when they were 15-1 coming off a bye. So there's nothing that somebody can break to me from a Green Bay's perspective that we should go, oh, man, that's a good point. That I should be nervous about. What? There's nothing. Like, I don't care if they have A-Rod. We've played A-Rod 4 times in 2 years. He's never had I don't want to say this. Someone could call me out. I don't believe he's had a 300-yard game in any of those. Why? Because we've dominated time of possession. He never had the opportunity to do it. The game this year when they're up 17-0, he still only threw for 240.
And most importantly, got after him, right? I mean, that is going to be the critical component to success, because people are pointing out in the chat, and I have to give the nod to the Packers fans that they're correct. Aaron Rodgers is having one hell of a season. He's only thrown, 2 interceptions this entire season, and it's going to be hard for the 49ers to get after him and to force him into uncomfortable situations where he turns the ball over. So it will be about limiting him. And I think all those things are correct that you spell out as far as reasons to be optimistic. By the way, we just got Luke Luna in the chat. You mind if I bring him in?
Luke, nice.
All right, Luke, we're bringing you in with Sean. Here we go. Let's see if we can't get Luke. Are you there?
I am. I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Now, I heard or saw in the chat you were tattooing today. Is that the case? Were you doing some tat work?
Yeah, we're in the shop right now.
Love it. Hold on, Sean. I'm gonna put just Luke in so we can get that background real quick. Okay, let's see that shop again. Let's hit that. Yes, sir. Doing the quality work. Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. So what are your thoughts? We're overtime, and I got my show starting in 19 minutes, but I didn't want to miss you coming in. How you feeling about this weekend? And I'm going to bring Sean back into it so that we can all be on this while we close out. So tell me, what are your thoughts on this one, Luke?
I feel positive that we're going to win the game. I think it's going to be harder than people expect, even though the run game we didn't have, and
Right.
I think that Jimmy is going to have 300 yards.
Ooh, I like that. That would be a shock to me if we came out and passed it like that, but I wouldn't put it past Kyle Shanahan.
I just see that we may need it. And, it might just be a total of yards, yak, and not just straight throwing yards, but goes over 300 possibly, because we may need him too.
I love
That's
it.
going to be the key.
I think he plays clean.
In the history of Jimmy G's 300-yard games, he normally throws for about 100, and we get 200 yak. So when he gets those 300-yard games, it's that Kittle for 17 that turns into 62, or that Ayuk for 15 that turns into 48, or Debo. I like that because I have Kittle going over 100 in this game, because that's one thing. Campbell, who's their best linebacker, they can't match up, especially if we start coming to the edges. They'll over pursue and we'll roll Kittle out as long as Jimmy doesn't miss the wide open receiver. But that's a good I was going to go that route with Jimmy's yards. If he didn't have the thumb, I would have gone that route. But the only thing that makes me nervous is if he falls at any point in this game on that cold grass, there's that intangible of re-aggravation in that cold weather that makes me a little bit skeptical, but I hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I hear you. Luke, who do you think is going to be the leading receiver in this one? If we've got Jimmy having that breakout game, I agree with the sentiment that you're probably looking at some yak yards, and so you could have any one of those receivers or tight ends leading the way. Who do you think is going to have the biggest game?
I don't know. Ayuk or Kittle.
All right.
But whose jersey am I wearing?
Oh, got Alex Smith there?
Nah.
Oh, you got Brandon Ayuk on? Nice.
George Patton?
Goodwin.
Oh. A little throwback to Marquise Goodwin. I love it.
I know you can't see it, but good.
That's dope. That is dope.
But
Very exciting.
So yeah, just wanted to hop on and say hi.
The people in the chat are thrilled to see you. Honestly, it is a warm welcome for Luke Luna, and they're excited to know what's up with the tattoo shop. They want more details. They want all that, but mainly just some excitement in coming in. So I'm thrilled to have you guys on. Thrilled to be able to close out in this way with a couple of Niner faithful, a couple of sneakerheads on the channel, just talking Niners.
One last thing.
All right, man.
Yeah, what's up, Sean?
Bold prediction for the defense. 2 strip sack fumbles and recovered. I don't care by who, but 2 on Rodgers. It's going to be
2 strip sacks. I love it.
Just like Alden Smith in 2013. It's gonna be Bosa coming off the edge, or it's gonna be Arden Key or one of those guys. We're gonna get a couple with Rodgers. He likes to do a lot of this. So that's my bold prediction: is two strip sack fumble recoveries. We also did it in 2019 against him as well. So that's my bold prediction: 2.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, we have one last guest that jumped in, Leo, who wants to get 2 minutes of time. I see him down there waiting, so I am going to go to Leo. We will wrap up there. I can't thank you, gentlemen, enough for being in. Pleasure to see you and meet you, Luke. Absolute pleasure.
Absolutely.
I look forward to seeing you both in the future, and go Niners.
Got it, man. Go Niners.
All right, gentlemen. Okay, let me get back into the right setup here and get Leo. What's up, Leo? How you doing?
What's up, Niner Faithful? Can you hear me?
Yes, you are coming in nice and clear, sounding crisp.
Right on, right on. Hi, everyone. I'll make this really quick, Rob. I know you got to go. Shout out to Sean. Sean, you're awesome. Just a couple quick thoughts, right? One, I don't think we need to be debating, Jimmy G versus Lance anymore. We're in the playoffs. I mean,
I think that's correct.
I was making those arguments all year, right? Like I was there, I was frustrated, but we're in the playoffs. We're here. Unless Jimmy can't play, he's a QB. And after this, after the playoffs, that's what we'll be talking about, right? Depending on how far we go. So I think that, we got new facts that presented themselves. Jimmy, hot, cold, but he's the guy. He's been consistently the guy. You've actually turned me around on this, Rob. You've made me see that, Kyle was consistent about this all year, right? Like we made the quarterback controversy. He said Jimmy is his guy all year. So
right.
So you kind of turned me around on that. And the other thought,
I'm glad that my logic
yeah.
swayed somebody.
It did.
It took a while for most of us to come around to it, but I think the evidence was there.
I thought he might be playing games with some of his injury, reports and things like that, but facts and, they just showed themselves that that's his guy and he's going to start Jimmy as long as he's healthy. I don't know if it's about trade value or if it's truly about he thinks that gives the team the best chance to win, but he's never shown us anything different than that. So that's what we have to believe. The other quick thing, I promise to be quick because I know you got to go, is I just think that for the upcoming game, we can just beat ourselves. I don't think that there's been any team that has shown that they could stop us when we're firing on all cylinders, right?
Yes.
Such a dynamic offense. So unless, Kyle moves away from the run game or forgets that Deebo Sanders exists, I don't think that we can be stopped. We got a better defense, and our offense, at least this year, is too dynamic for teams to adjust to, and I think we just depressed defenses. What do you think?
I thought that was incredibly well said, and I agree wholeheartedly. If the 49ers play the way in which the 49ers can play, the way in which they are capable of playing, I've said this continually coming into the playoffs, I'm not scared of any matchup. I'm not scared of how we match up against Green Bay. I'm not scared of Tampa Bay. I'm not scared of the Rams. And I'm not scared of anyone in the AFC either. Now, it doesn't mean I'm making some bold prediction that the Niners march on and win the Super Bowl. But what I am definitively saying is they have a fighting chance to do it. And all they need to do is come out to play for 60 minutes. They just have to be consistent. They can't shoot themselves in the foot, and they have to do the things that they do so well. What they do well translates in the playoffs: running the ball, stopping the run, getting after the quarterback. All of those things are critical to playoff wins, and the Niners are great at all of them.
We tend to take our foot off the gas pedal, right?
Yes.
How far up do you think we need to be on Green Bay for us to essentially take that little bit of heat off and just kind of go with the ground and pound and slow it down? Like against Rodgers and Green Bay, 3 touchdowns?
Yeah,
3?
you got to be up 21 plus. That's exactly what I was going to go with that, because even up 21, if it's halftime and you're up 21, that lead's not safe. That lead's not safe, right? I mean, Rodgers can absolutely spin it. And unless the cold is a limiting factor, which I don't anticipate it will be, because the snow flurries are supposed to be earlier in the day, it's going to be cold, but it shouldn't be windy and it shouldn't be snowing. And so I think they're going to be able to spin it. Both teams should be able to pass the ball. Rodgers is certainly more comfortable being that he lives there. Jimmy was born outside of Chicago, so it's in his blood. But I do think you want to be up more than that. Even at 21, I'm still grind out the clock, get those chunk plays on the ground, and just continue to do what you do well.
Perfect. I'll just say one more thing because it's my first time on the show.
Yeah.
Just convey, I've said this to you a little bit before, Rob, in email, and I'll just wrap it up with this, that I just appreciate your channel so much. I feel like it's very balanced content, very positive outlook. You promote like logic, reason, changing of opinions. The community is really friendly, and I've moved away from the Bay Area this year, so I haven't been able to watch any games live with any of my homies, and it's been wonderful, like just being part of being part of this community and this show. So thanks a lot, and looking forward to the rest of it. Think
I
you got a bright future.
really appreciate that, Leo. I mean, that was well stated, and that means a great deal to me because I also moved away from the Bay and have been out in different areas of the country now, currently in Portland, Oregon, and it did feel like I was, sort of removed from Niner faithful in that regard. There were very few times I was back in the Bay for the season, and this has created a community, an opportunity to interact with people on a level that I didn't have before, and it means something to hear from other members of the faithful saying that they appreciate that. So it genuinely touches me to hear that, Leo, and I greatly appreciate you coming on to share your insights and to share the fact that you have been swayed in some opinions, and to say some kind words as well. That means a great deal.
Thank you. Go Niners.
Go Niners. Yes, sir. All right, you take care, Leo. Enjoy the game. All right, we are wrapping this up because I go live again in less than 9 minutes. I wanted to celebrate Ellis 10 coming back on board as a sneakerhead and emphatically saying, I'm back, LOL. Yes, welcome back. It's as if you were never gone, my friend. I wanted to say thank you again to Luke Luna for coming on. I had been anticipating that would happen at some point. He wrote in the chat that he did need to get back to tattooing. Hey, put all your focus on whomever you're working on right now. Maybe add a little 49ers down in the bottom of whatever tattoo it is that you put on them. That would be epic. I mean, with their permission, of course. Luke coming in. Don't fail with the unexpected. Step up and we're good. I am telling you, if the Niners can do what they do so well, they are going to win this one. Hey, I want to say thank you to the respectful folks from Packer Nation that were in the chat. I thought there was some good dialogue. One or two folks that were spamming, but I just, put a little kibosh on that and we moved forward. I thought it was very respectful in the chat, and I always appreciate that. I always love a good dialogue. It has been a pleasure interacting with all of you. We do this Sneakerhead call-in show every week on Thursdays at 4. We may try and change up the time so that other folks can call in, but we love the folks that are able to contribute on this one. Thank you to everyone for coming in. Always a pleasure. I will see you all again soon. I'll be back on in less than 7 minutes, so I'll see you then. Until then, cheers, faithful.